the love of money is the root of all evil is actually incorrect. In the original text, it's the greed of money
Oh,
is
I
the root
didn't
of
know
all
that
evil.
one.
What do you believe about this money thing? If this belief might be a lie, let it be a lie that works in your favor then. Your mind is such a beautiful engine in that it wants to protect you. So if you think rich people are all corrupt, your mind will protect you from becoming rich so that you know that you're not corrupt. A lot of people have value, but they don't work on the perception of that value and then
Welcome to another edition of Mindset Profits. Let's talk about how to win the money game with the author of Winning the Money Game. He is back again on the podcast after, I'm sure, a year since we last hosted you. Mlamuli, how's it, my bro?
Thank you for having me. Good to be back. Shutsi sakhuluma kahle last time. Fella, if they don't ask you to return.
Yeah, it means you said something important.
No, thank you.
A lot of people are struggling financially, and I remember when I checked the comments, I've seen that a lot of people are saying that, look, the content is speaking to me because I'm struggling. The content is speaking to me because it's finding me at a time where I'm trying to turn things around and build. And I know not everyone is struggling. Funny enough, I met someone who said, just recently, Ntando, seen you on YouTube, seen the content, and I went through what you went through, the divorce, the D's, and I turned things around. And what you speak about building, I resonate. So I am fully aware that not everyone is struggling, but in whatever season you're in, money is a game that has rules, and we are talking to the right man today. How's it, man?
No, man, I'm good. Yes. So, yes, funny enough, I was watching the sauna.
Yeah.
And
State of the Nation address.
State of the Nation address. And it's a mixed bag of chips. But what I will say is that there's a beautiful African proverb that says, those that are unable to dance say the yard is stony. Right, so the yard...
I don't know that one.
So the South African status and economy is a bit stony at the moment, but if you know how to dance, you'll find that you don't find it as stony compared to having no clue how to dance in the yard.
Switch it up to the money game.
All right, so in terms of the money game, I always like to start it in the 3 foundational wheels of money.
Okay.
Because I believe that, so I did a degree in economics and finance. And when I went through my Odyssey Damascus moment, I found that there's a huge difference between a degree in finance and personal finance. As fun as it. Not at all.
There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference. And when I then actually figured out or came up with these 3 foundational wheels, I was like, okay, this is actually where the difference starts. So the third most important wheel is the what is money? Yini, this thing called money. Although we handle it every day, how many times do we actually have an understanding of what it is? Now, if you ask that question in workshops, you'll get the smart answers. It's a medium of exchange and all these fancy terminology, umuntu ufuna ukuveza ukuthi ngifundile.
Store of wealth and stuff.
Yeah. So, but what I say is money essentially is just, it allows us to exchange value. That is essentially what it's about. So let's say I give you my book, you give me your phone. Would you do that transaction?
Yeah.
Would you? My book for your phone?
Oh, no. For my phone. Well, it depends on my phone. But
It depends which phone.
I can take out a phone.
Right. So we would have these debates in bartering. And when they saw what, you know what, we need to find a common store of value. And then many tribes chose different things. It was like there was times where salt was a store of value because we didn't have fridges, so salt. The Roman soldiers were actually paid in salt. It's where the word salary comes from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, back then salt was very, you had a lot of utility, right? And we're doing that, and then feathers, spices, to the point that it got to gold. Now, there's a small problem with gold. If I'm carrying gold and I'm walking through a forest or through the desert, what might happen?
You don't have it by the time you pass.
Exactly. Someone, robber barons, would then rob you, right? So then people started just writing notes on a piece of paper that 2 ounces of gold, and then I'll give you the piece I'll send you the piece of paper. Whenever you in my village, then you can come collect the gold. But then many people never collected the gold. So that's how we then ended up with paper money. Right. And then for those that studied economics, you'll then debate that the fiat currency we have today, which means money is no longer backed by gold, is that fair? Is that the way it should be? That's a long debate that I doubt any of us can really change that system. And I always say it's better to know how to work within the system that you find yourself in. And a more pertinent question then is, what does money follow? Right?
I like that, because when you say that, it answers the question I'm having in my head. That what does this kind of knowledge, how does this knowledge help me if I'm broke?
All right. So then you find out what money follows, right?
Yeah.
So if I have 100 Rand, there's only one thing that makes me give you my 100 Rand in exchange for value. I must perceive the value of what you have more than my 100 Rand. Otherwise, I'm not taking my 100 Rand out of my pocket. So then you say, okay, it's 2 things. It must have value, but also the person must perceive it. So I think that's where a lot of us sometimes miss it, where you see an amazing product that is valuable, or you do an amazing job that is valuable, but you have not worked on the perception of that value. If I can make a good example, so my favorite chocolate is a Bawan. My first interaction with Bawan was their advert for a 25-hour day. I'm sure you remember leather jackets, bike, was a very cool guy. So I identified with that advert, right? And then when we went to the shops with Uma, the packaging also spoke to the advert. And then only then did I actually test the chocolate and said, oh, okay, this chocolate is nice. It has value to me. And I've been buying it ever since. But if I did not see the perception, which then increased the desire, I would have never probably tasted the chocolate. So a lot of people have value, but they don't work on the perception of that value, and then money doesn't follow there. And then the second most important wheel is your first memory of money. Right? Your first memory of money. You're probably about 6 to 8.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We'll get to the second.
Okay.
I just want to say something on the value, because you're essentially explaining why someone is probably struggling.
Yes.
And it doesn't make sense to them, because when they look at themselves, they think, but I've got skill, man. I'm good. Why is Umla, who has less skill, getting paid more, getting more opportunities? It's not the value that you created, it's how you promoted that value, how you delivered that value. He's just better at delivering the value than you, who created better but couldn't deliver.
I would say it's how I communicate the value.
True.
Yeah. So so for example, with my book, right? I don't really sell my book as read this book. It's a nice book. Like if you enjoy reading, read. No, I sell it as a solution to a problem that you have. Right? So if you are struggling with finances and don't understand money and things are not happening in that, I say the book is a tool that you can use to guide you to solving that problem. So whether you like reading or you don't like reading, that is not the issue.
You need the
I'm
tool.
increasing your desire to buy this tool to fix your issues. Right? So the book just happens to be the medium that I'm using.
That's what I wanted to come out. That's what I wanted, because it helps someone who's trying to really improve their life to understand that you might work on skills, you might get qualifications, but things don't work out if you can't articulate the value
Even
to
in
the
the
person.
Even in the workplace. You know, I used to be in corporate. I won't say which one, but I would see that shame. And actually, let me share this example because it's okay. So my systems analyst person, he was brilliant at what he did. But as the business analyst, guess who would shine at ESCO? I would be the one presenting. This is the as is. This is the to be. This is where we're going. If we do this, do this. And when I would ask him to present his part, no, Mla, it's not for me. I'm happy behind the computer. And I'm like, and then one day I sat with him, I'm like, champ, your career's not going to go far if I'm the only one who knows how brilliant you are.
Yeah.
So when I present, start with a small part that you speak to. And then he said, okay, maybe let's start this way. Ask me a question. So when I would present, I'd be like, oh, actually, Mike, could you just elaborate? So he started on the seat. It was 2-3 weeks. Next exco, he came in, and I think it was about 2 months he got a promotion because now people perceived his value differently.
I like the line, man. Your career is not going far if I'm the only one who knows how valuable you are.
Yeah, because I wasn't the boss. I was
That's going to land heavy on someone. Your career is not going far if only one person in one corner is the only one who knows how valuable you are. That's some power. All right, so let's move to the second.
All right. So the second most important wheel is your first memory of money. So in the workshop, people unpack their memory, some cry, we sing Kumbaya. It's a beautiful moment. But for purposes of today, I think let me share my first memory of money. So I was born in a hospital while we stayed in Mlazi. Many people say I was born in Mlazi. No, you were born in a hospital while staying in Mlazi, right? So I think I was about 6 or 7. Most people's first memory is 6 to 8. And my friends went to buy these small pink sweets. I think you'll remember them. We used to call them more sweet Mama Kundan. They were about 10 cents, 5 cents. Yeah, sweet Mama Kundan.
Tiny sweets.
Oh, tiny sweets. Oh, so that's the real name. So Nama sweet Mama Kundan. So I ran in, Mama, celu sweetie, and celu malia sweetie, and she loses with me. So I think it was probably Mampara week or something. So she loses with me.
She didn't have the money for the sweets.
She shouts, and she says, "This is my money, and I work hard for my money." Those were the two things that anchored in my mind, in my subconscious today. So I grew up to then, it's my money, to become stingy, right? And I grew up to be, I work hard for my money. I grew up to work hard, which is probably why I over-prepare in everything that I do and overthink everything I do. So in as much as there's a pro to working hard, there's also some negative aspects to it. And it also makes it hard to build a team around that you do, whatever work you do, right? So that's my first memory of money. And I grew up to be stingy, hardworking, no one can do it better than me type of thing, which took me a certain, to certain places. But then it becomes a challenge when you are now dating seriously, engaged, etc., that you are stingy. Now, but because I became aware of my first memory of money, I was able to mitigate this and say, okay, maybe you should just get that back, Imla. Because you are defaulting no because of that trauma of your first memory of money. And the studies show that 80% of us are functioning from our first memory of money. And if you are not aware of it and it just sits in your subconscious, you are on autopilot and it could be hurting you.
Okay, I like Ubangile calls it your money personality. And what develops your money personality is partly that, and sometimes partly traumatic events that happen at some point in your life. Because you can develop a personality when you're growing up, and then something huge happen. Definitely. And that changes you to a whole different person. Maybe you didn't have the trauma in the beginning, but at some point later, financial loss changes you entirely, and you become, you adopt out of trauma. So I guess it's traumas at any point in your life. You adopt a different kind of personality. But I like it because what you're explaining is sometimes you need to be reflective enough to see what your money personality is, how you show up around money, how you behave around money, because you can have the biggest goals, the biggest dreams, but if your personality doesn't support you achieving them, self-sabotage.
Yeah, so on the money personality thing, there's also something I call the money tribes.
Yeah.
Right? And the money tribes, that aspect of it is there as well. But for me, the great power I see it, and what my clients really enjoy in it, is it says what kind of work would naturally fulfill you. Right. So, for example, let me share my top 3 money tribes, because all of us are a combination of the 8, and then you have like the top 3 of it, similar to Myers-Briggs, extrovert, introvert, intuitive, ENTP type of thinking. So it's like a psychometric, but for how you should be making money in the world. Like, where do you naturally just shine? It's a way of kind of like locating your gift. So my top 1 is Maverick. What is a Maverick? So the Maverick personality or tribe it's kind of called the rebel without a cause. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so the Maverick
Sounds interesting.
is sort of a rebel without a cause. Now, if you think about it, I was a business analyst.
Yeah.
A business analyst is a rebel against the status quo.
Okay.
Because you are brought in to create a different environment, more efficient, more automated, if that's the direction we're going, etc., etc. So you are literally rebelling against the status quo. So I intuitively fit my Maverick persona. So I was
get
lucky.
what that looks like halfway. If I am a rebel, I get into a workplace, I see what's wrong, I fight what's wrong to fix the system. But the without a cause part, isn't that the cause?
Oh no, so yes, that is the cause. So I'm saying, so unfortunately, if you don't discover it properly, you will always be rebelling against stupid causes and dumb causes, right? But once you discover it, so for example, I came in and I saw the financial landscape and people's understanding of money and financial education, and I'm rebelling against people's ignorance in the space by then doing the work that I do. So I'm a Maverick, right?
So you're looking around. Some people are scanning for opportunities. You're scanning for what's wrong, what needs optimization, what needs fixing, and you fight hard.
You rebel, yeah. The worst place you can put a Maverick is where everything must be, we've been doing it like this for 20 years.
And nothing is changing.
There's nothing. Because I remember in my graduate program, one of my places that I went, because you'd go to a place for like 2 or 3 weeks and do a project, I heard that line. It was a certain department. And when I asked, why do we do it this way? What if the exact words were, we've been doing it like this for 20 years. And I knew that I definitely don't belong here. At the time, I did not know I was a Maverick, but I just knew that I cannot function in a space where everything must be exactly the same all the time. Because of my Maverick tribe. And then my second one is ruler. So ruler is the person that can see like a decade ahead.
Okay.
So that the ruler can start something today knowing that this thing will probably come into fruition 5-10 years from now. The challenge though with the ruler is, so for example, when I wrote the book, I had like a milestone.
Yeah.
I hit that milestone, and I think I was happy for like a week, and then I set another big milestone. So the ruler is always...
That sounds more like me, actually.
welcome, my fellow ruler, right? So we're always setting goals, and now what you forget is to actually live today and enjoy today. For example, I'm sure you know the Joburg proverb, when you bump into someone, hey, we should do a coffee.
Yeah.
The ruler is the worst person to do that with, because they are so focused on the goal that they are building, that coffee will probably never happen unless it aligns to the goal that they're going towards, right?
Yeah.
So you tend to be too focused on the future and where you're going. And the sad thing is, when you even achieve it, the destination of reaching that doesn't last that long. So the ruler needs to learn to enjoy the journey while they are building.
Love it. That sounds like good advice for me, but yeah, it's sinking. Let's go.
All right. Then my
my
third one is, for me, it was a bit of a surprise. It's nurturer.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a surprise because I thought I was more, capitalistic, but turns out I'm a nurturer. But actually, when I started unpacking it, I realized that I am, because in doing financial education, I was doing it more as a ministry. What do I mean by that? I mean, I would give discounts, I would do pro bono, and I'm like, oh, I'm a nurturer. So the nurturer must never do their own bookings. So if you're a nurturer,
Sounds like me too.
if you're a nurturer, if one of the topics is nurturer, please don't do your own booking, which is why today I've got a team and someone else does the bookings, etc. Because me, it's like, it's for the children. We must inspire the youth. You know, because remember, Maverick, Rebel, now I have a course, financial education. Now, when you mix that with a nurturer, then I'll be out there doing this thing for free all the time, which then makes it unsustainable, right? So in knowing your tribe, you then know what to lean into and you know what to mitigate, what to kind of be like, okay, maybe this part should be done by someone else. Someone else does Mla's booking. And ever since, it's been... yeah, it's going well.
Which one of the 8 is the most destructive?
So
I know you talked us through 8.
The top 3.
The ones that you left out. Which one is the most?
So for me, there's none that are destructive. So how I position the money tribe thing and how I see it is that each and every one of them has a positive and a negative, a challenge and a positive and a good thing about them. It's about the awareness of which one you are in, and then adjusting certain things so that you enjoy the strength of that naturally, but then you also mitigate the weakness. For example, some people, when I do this, they say, the romantic. So romantic is seize the day, carpe diem. See, our romantic is fancy restaurants, always dressed nice, whether the account is on an overdraft. Romantic, you know. So some people will be like, but that's destructive. Then I say, no. If you are a nurturer, especially if you're a nurturer and you're in business, you must get a romantic in the team. Guess what the romantic will do? They'll probably double your prices. Because the romance, they just think premium. They live in premium world. And instead of giving discount, they will figure out ways to work the perception of that value such that maybe something that was 500 Rand is now 2,000 Rand.
They'll package you better.
Yeah, it's just who they are. The world
is premium.
It's premium. That's just abazenzi, guys. So if you got a family member like that, abazenzi, it's just who they are.
Who they are.
Yeah, just give them a product, let them at the joujwa, and you'll be amazed at what. And
Let
also,
them
if
add what?
the joujwa, right? And if they're in the workplace, try not to put them in the back office where they can't apply the joujwa. Put them more maybe in research and development, in marketing, in product development, etc., etc. That is where you'll find they'll probably shine. And the beautiful thing is once you know your tribe and you align your work, you literally enjoy what you do and it fulfills you. You're not fighting against the stream anymore.
If I'm talking about winning the money game and the rules, I know you've talked about the first 2. Is the third one going to take me to that next level?
So the third one is the most important, Dando.
I like it. Let's go.
Yeah. So what I do is I say third, second, first. I do a countdown, right? So what is money is third, first memory is second, and then the number one determinant is beliefs. What do you believe about this money thing? Now, can I ask you to please spell believe or belief, whichever one you feel like spelling?
B-E-L-I-E-F.
Okay, you spelled belief. B-E-L-I-E. L-I-E. What does L-I-E spell?
Lie.
Lie. Lie is literally in between belief. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Right?
I get you, yeah.
Yeah. So anything that you believe or whatever belief you hold, in the center of that is lie. So for me, what I say is, if this might be a lie, if this belief might be a lie, let it be a lie that works in your favor then.
You see that one coming?
Right? So a belief, if you want to name. So if belief in the center has lie, because there's sometimes I see these debates in social media and people are like really believing in what they're saying. And your truth does not make it the truth. Yes, it can be your truth. It happened to you. But it does that not mean that it is the
Universally true
yes.
for
There's
everyone.
very few absolute truths. Absolute truth, gravity. You walk off a building, you're a good person, you're a bad person, you light, you dark, you
That
green,
law
you blue.
is happening.
Boom, you fall, right? That is a absolute truth. Many things are just opinions packaged as truths, which you then go and believe or belie.
What are some of those examples of beliefs that have taken people out?
So the one that I deal the most with is the love of money is the root of all evil.
That one pops up first every time. we talk
Many
beliefs.
times it does, because we all went to Sunday school. Some of us went to Sunday school, right? So that one comes up often. And what I say to that, so every chapter in my book starts with a African proverb. And one of the proverbs there is one falsehood can spoil 1,000 truths. Just one falsehood, right? Spoils 1,000 truths. And what I mean by that is two things. The love of money is the root of all evil is actually incorrect. In the original text, it's the greed of money
Oh,
is
I
the root
didn't
of
know
all
that
evil.
one.
So remember, the Bible was translated.
Yeah.
Or transliteration. Yeah, or maybe figure or past. Transliteration. So it's the greed of money is the root of all evil. But let's say it is the love of money. The action word there is not money. It's love. Here's an example. So I support Kaizer Chiefs. It's been hard, but it's fine.
Good luck.
And my dad supported Orlando Pirates. So I was always mixed when there'd be a derby and we're watching it at Kai, because usually his friends would come and kumnandi kubuka ibhola iziyasha kumnandi kumnandi. But then if Pirates loses, he would literally get up and he would say, "Could you, may you, should you get out of my bungalow?" Abaxoshe. Like abaxoshe.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, get out of my house. And they would go. And I'm like, and then they would come again following. I'm like, why are you coming to a guy out Koshayo? But anyway, so abaxoshe. But if Pirates won, kwakuba mnandi, kube nebrai, and then I'd get money that would be left on the sofas, when people got too happy. So in a way, I'm sitting there watching the game and I'm supporting Chiefs, Dr. Kumalo, but I'm like, hey, but when Pirates win, so with that, I could have said the love of Orlando Pirates is the root of all evil in that context. Okay. So the action word is love. The love of expensive cars might be the action word is love, not the money thing. So that's an instance where one falsehood spoils 1,000 truths, because if you hold that belief, it's very difficult to move on to other ones. One of the questions I ask is, would money marry you? And if you fundamentally believe that money is the root of all evil, then obviously it won't even date you. Therefore, how would you think you do okay with it?
What that causes is a sense of guilt and shame when you start to see a stockpile of money in your bank account.
Yeah, and
now you're in conflict.
Yeah.
Am I now in the love of money category? How do I know? Am I okay as a believer? It starts to get confusing.
Yeah, because for example, let's say we see an Aston Martin passing and there's a young black man driving it. What are some of our most people's natural assumption?
A lot of thoughts are flying in my head.
Yeah, it's a commission, it's corruption.
I wanted to say that, but I thought no.
So it's corruption. I'm sure he did something wrong. Very few times do you see someone driving past, let's say an Aston Martin, and you think, maybe they built a big business that hires 100 people and provides income and salary for those families. That's not usually.
What are you putting the negativity down to?
It's our social conditioning. Fat cat, filthy rich. There's hardly any positive ones.
I get you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess if you say rich people are and you leave a blank, you just have to answer it in your head and then you'll know how you think.
Yes, and then your mind is such a beautiful engine in that it wants to protect you. So if you think rich people are all corrupt, your mind will protect you from becoming rich so that you know that you're not corrupt.
When it comes to belief, one that pops up as well when I have a chat around this is looking at your history, your background, and saying, no one has ever made it in my family. This wealth is not for our family. You put a limitation on your ability to become wealthy based on what you see in your background. So your background serves as evidence that you will never be rich.
Yes, if I may use the story of Joseph
Yeah.
in that one. So Joseph had a gift of interpreting dreams, of having the dream and interpreting the dreams, right? And when he interpreted the dream to his brothers, jealousy, anger, and then he had the dream of the sun and the moon and bowing before him, then his father rebuked him and his brothers got even more angry, right? And then he went to slavery, and then something happened. He got to jail or the dungeon, depending on the interpretation you read. Now, in the dungeon, same gift was shared with the cupbearer and the baker. When he shared that gift with the cupbearer and the baker, it did not change his situation. Same gift, right?
Yeah.
It was only when Pharaoh had a dream that he wanted interpreted, and the cupbearer remembered, that guy.
There's that guy.
Hey, that guy. Hey, Bafo. And they cleaned him up, and he came. Pharaoh said his dream, and he interpreted it, right? Obviously, with God's help. He interpreted it. And in one day, he went from prisoner to prime minister of Egypt. So look at this. He had to actually leave his family for his gift to shine through. So sometimes, not that you have to go to another province type of thing, but maybe limit the time that you spend in an environment, because there's a quotation that says, environment will eventually beat willpower.
Environment is stronger than willpower.
Yeah, sometimes. Most times, actually, right? And then the 5 or 7 people that you tend to speak most to, you'll find that you kind of are similar in life stage or status, etc., etc. So you do need to move out. So Abram was Joseph was forced out, right? Also Abram, actually, funny enough. So Joseph was forced out, and then be careful that your gift is not only being applied to cupbearer and baker. Because for me, that's where I was stuck for quite some time, where, remember Maverick, rebel with a cause now? I was only talking to cupbearers and bakers and trying to help. But the cupbearer forgot him. I mean, if someone can forget that you can interpret dreams, really, I mean, that's an amazing gift, right? So they forget that. You must then go, okay, I've got this gift. How might this gift apply to Pharaoh? Now, Pharaoh could be your senior manager, could be your CEO, it could be big clients, etc., etc. And then you communicate and work on the perception of that gift to serve Pharaoh. And you can move from struggling to prime minister in one day.
That's deep, man. I remember having a chat with someone else on the podcast about this, and it was a biblical principle that changed his life. To say, see the man who is diligent in all he does. He will not stand before ordinary men. He'll stand before kings.
Exactly.
Now, that becomes a principle. And when you share it this way, what I think of is, for someone who is reflecting on this, looking at how they work, see who you're serving right now. Are you in the category of ordinary men, as the context of that verse is saying, or you're unlocking that path to speaking to kings?
So it's not mutually exclusive. So, for example, with my book offering, I'm speaking to cupbearer and baker.
Yeah.
I'm even speaking, even I've got a freemium version where this thing is free, like it's a PDF.
Yeah.
It's free. I just want you to know that I exist in the universe, right? So that's for everybody, right? And then it's the book. But then when I'm talking programs, the kind of fee that the program is, it naturally says you have to then speak to a pharaoh, right? And that's the beautiful thing of one day accounting and then accounting.
No, I think it's the beautiful thing with talking to you, first of all, because you broke it down and made it practical for someone who will be listening. Because what I see is, and it's a struggle that many people have. I've got this gift and I serve a community that negotiates a lot, can't afford a lot, but I love the community and I love whatever I'm serving with is doing for them. My struggle is I get to, or motivational mla, they say increase your prices. I can't with the community I serve. They say you need to be speaking to farmers, you need to sell to corporates, you need to operate at a higher level. I don't want to leave these ones behind because they are meaning. There's a meaning that I'm deriving from the work that I'm doing. So just saying essentially is, it doesn't have to be either or.
Yeah.
You can figure out a way to package value that speaks to that next bracket while you serve those that you love.
For example, Solomon did exactly that. In writing Proverbs, that was community. It's for everyone, the wisdom.
Yeah.
But then the sitting down, maybe
kings.
consulting, was with kings and Queen of Sheba, and they paid him a lot.
Every year.
Right? And then the other way to think about it, or at least how I think about it, is Pharaoh, in as much as the dream was interpreted for Pharaoh, the people that were truly helped were the cupbearer and the people of the nation. Otherwise, they would have starved to death. So because for me, Pharaoh pays me not to do my program for Pharaoh. Pharaoh pays me, or the company pays me to do it for the employees. So I am reaching the cupbearer and the baker, but Pharaoh pays me to do it because cupbearer and baker probably wouldn't pay that amount.
And you've managed to learn and grow to a level where you can package value that speaks to that next
Cupbearer.
level.
Yeah. For example, one of the talks that speaks to Pharaoh, or
Yeah.
is think about it. When we saw wealth as cattle, I think every man was proud to have a kraal. Right? And you go like, yeah, sibaya sam les.
I've got all this cattle.
Yeah, you would be proud of it and you wouldn't just waste it or stuff like that. But I think we haven't made the transition that kraal for most of us now is a portfolio. But because we haven't made the transition, we are not building portfolios with the same vigor that we would build a kraal. So then I come in and say, okay, I want to help the cupbearer and the baker to really understand the importance of a portfolio and how it fits in their life as their new kraal for most of us, right? So then I say, okay, the talk is, or the workshop is, capital is the new cattle, from kraal to portfolio. Now, Pharaoh is happy because I'm communicating something that probably brings them more business. But cupbearer and baker are happy because I've made an awareness that, please, when you get a nice invoice or when you get a bonus, don't go somewhere and slaughter 10 cows to show us that you've got more cows or more money. Right? Actually build a portfolio. And you build a portfolio. So both parties are served. It's just a matter of how you communicate the value to Pharaoh.
If someone says, what am I doing wrong? What are some of the low-hanging fruits, easy places to look at?
Wrong in which aspect?
Financially. I'm struggling. I don't see what I'm doing wrong. Where am I missing it? Because it looks like Omla were born with the playbook.
Not even. I went through another trauma. So for me, what I see most often is back to beliefs. People hold the lie that I'm not good with money. And that's just a belief or a belie. It's a lie for most. None of us were born able to drive. So now you're walking around like, yeah, I know, I see cars every day. Hey, but I'm just not good with cars. I can't drive. No, go to driving school, champ, and 9 out of 10 times you will learn how to drive. So people are not driving their finances, saying that it's not for me, money is boring, it's intimidating. So it's that lie that they tell themselves. And a huge part of my work is to work on that psychology to fight that lie. And then what I do is I till the soil so that when we plant the seeds of a new belief that you can actually drive your finances into a great portfolio, net worth, success, etc., you actually believe it. Because if you don't believe it, no matter how great my tactics are or strategies, they're gonna land on soil that's just gonna kick it out.
As we wrap, man, do you have examples of good beliefs that people can have?
So for me, one of my strongest beliefs is that as a son of God, I'm a prince. And what he said was, create fruit, right? Fruit is my gift, my talent. Multiply, that's sales. Book is selling, programs are selling, workshops are selling. And then you have dominion in your gift. So when you function from that belief, whatever you're working on, because you know that it's divine,
You're always creating and multiplying.
you're always creating and multiplying. And we are all born with the seed. It's just for us to express the fruit.
The weird thing is, where you went with that is, I could equally be a brethren, a believer, who says it's good to be content.
Fair enough, fair enough. For me, it's when I think of multiplication and dominion, I'm not thinking of umla. So, for example, one of my faith goals is changing financial destinies of 1 million people. And how do I express that? In 1 million copies of the book in people's hands, right? And the first time that came up in spirit, I had no idea how that was going to happen. But now the models, the strategies, the partnerships, they're coming together in that direction. Now, 1 million copies, yes, obviously I would make mla, good cash,
Some good money.
good money.
That's why we're friends.
Yeah. but consider how many families, how many young people, how many marriages are saved when people consume this product and it has a positive effect in their life. So if you are content for things that only serve you, for me, that's a bit of a selfish outlook. Because angithi we give from a cup that's overflowing. So let's get to overflowing and then you give as you overflow. Because also as you get to certain levels, you are tithing. And your tithing gets to certain levels because 10% is not fixed. It's 10% of, 10% of, 10% of, 10% of.
The shift I see there in how you explained it is, where is your contentment tied to? Because if your contentment is tied to material things, you are different to someone whose contentment is tied to the level of impact they want to make.
And how many...
Two different individuals there.
But I think we are all called to serve humanity with our gifts.
Yeah.
Like imagine if the kid gave him 2 fish and 5 loaves and he was like, yeah, I'm content. Yeah, now I can eat. I've been talking.
And my
hey,
people
you
can
guys. Hey. But when he then said, the people need to eat, then it had to multiply.
So that's the conclusion. The people need to eat. Let's multiply.
The people need to experience your gift because your gift is probably someone's answered prayer.
Beautiful, man. What can we look forward to as we wrap when it comes to you?
So our main focus right now is programs because think of, so I used to write poetry, right? So I've got a stickler for words like believe, belie. So if you think of the word program, what does it do? Programs someone to think a certain way, be a certain way, etc. So yes, my talks are great. It sparks people, it catalyzes people. But I found that in programs, you get the opportunity to transform more people because you see them over like 3 or 6 months. And in that journey, literally for some people, it becomes when they go through this program, this was the first day of my new life because I had enough time and enough room to go into enough depth. Because remember, I'm battling the beliefs you've been holding your entire life. And to do that in an hour or a day, some people are kind of bubbling under. And when you come in, yes, you see the transformation. It's amazing. Some is just a book. It's crazy to me, right? But with the program, the ratio is a lot higher because you can spend time with them. You go deep. There's coaching, etc., etc. So that is my focus because I think that's where we deliver the greatest impact.
Thank you, man. This has been valuable. And the masterclass I was waiting for in part 2 is so thank you for having us till this time. Let us know where you're commenting from. That's one of the cute things that we've just enjoyed over the past couple of months, which is why the African tour is going to be kicking off. Kenya, Nigeria, Zambia, you have been dominant in the comments. And so we are coming live to shoot there. Let us know. Maybe you never know. We'll come to you as well.
In the spirit of giving, I'll be giving away one copy of the book to a lucky listener. You'll decide how.
No, you decide. It's your book. What do they have to do?
Just a comment, perhaps, of what belief are you holding on to that's no longer working for you?
The first person to make that comment, which means it's the first person to finish this video, get to this part and run to comment. See you in the next episode.